Kareem Hassan never imagined that moving into a quiet suburban street would make him the target of a deadly obsession, and Officer Daniel Hargrove never expected his grudges would spiral into murder. Ridgeway Heights looked peaceful, lined with trimmed lawns, quiet porches, and neighbors who preferred routine over surprise. Officer Daniel Hargrove lived on the corner in a house that stood cleaner and quieter than the rest, reflecting his strict personality and need for control. Many residents respected his badge, yet whispers about his harsh attitude and biased behavior followed him everywhere. When Kareem Hassan moved into the aging house next door, curiosity spread across the street. Kareem worked long hours restoring the property, rarely speaking but always remaining polite. Soon after his arrival, small complaints began reaching the local council. Each report focused on minor issues around Kareem's home. Hargrove was often seen watching from his driveway or driving slowly past during off-duty hours. Late-night patrol cars started appearing without clear reason, making some residents uneasy. Friendly greetings between neighbors slowly turned into quiet stares and closed doors. Community gatherings grew tense, and people avoided choosing sides openly. Anonymous rumors circulated through social media groups, painting Kareem as suspicious without proof. Meanwhile, subtle signs of intimidation appeared, including warnings left on shared notice boards and unexplained inspections targeting only one house. Ridgeway Heights began losing its sense of comfort as fear replaced trust. Beneath the calm surface of suburban life, resentment quietly grew, setting the stage for a conflict that would soon shatter the illusion of safety. No one realized that personal grudges, silent surveillance, and hidden prejudice were already shaping decisions that would soon push the neighborhood toward irreversible tragedy. The first clear sign that tensions were turning dangerous appeared when sections of Kareem Hassan's newly repaired fence were found smashed before sunrise. Splintered wood scattered across the lawn, yet no witnesses came forward. Security cameras captured only vague silhouettes moving under streetlights, creating more suspicion than answers. Kareem reported the damage immediately, but the investigation moved slowly and produced little progress. At the same time, Officer Daniel Hargrove's presence around the street increased noticeably. Residents saw his patrol car parked near Kareem's house even during hours when no incidents were reported. Anonymous warning letters began appearing in several mailboxes, suggesting that outsiders were bringing trouble to Ridgeway Heights. Fear quietly grew, and some neighbors stopped speaking openly, worried about becoming targets themselves. Kareem responded by installing brighter lights and additional cameras, hoping to protect his property and prove his innocence. Shortly afterward, police suddenly surrounded his home following an anonymous complaint about suspicious activity. Officers searched the area but found nothing illegal, leaving Kareem humiliated and isolated. Rumors spread rapidly through neighborhood chat groups, further damaging his reputation. Community meetings became uncomfortable, with residents choosing silence over involvement. Small acts of kindness disappeared, replaced by cautious distance. Beneath the surface, resentment deepened as invisible lines formed between neighbors. Each new incident added pressure, pushing the street closer to a breaking point that felt unavoidable. The quiet neighborhood slowly transformed into a place filled with anxiety, distrust, and the growing sense that someone was deliberately steering events towards something far more serious. Attention toward the conflict grew when local activist Maya Lopez began documenting events around Ridgeway Heights. She collected videos, photos, and written statements from residents who felt intimidated but were too afraid to speak publicly. Her quiet investigation uncovered patterns showing that complaints and inspections often targeted the same household. As her online posts gained attention, outside journalists started asking questions about possible discrimination within the neighborhood. This sudden spotlight created even more tension on the street. Some residents supported her efforts in private, while others feared the negative publicity and withdrew from community activities. Soon after her arrival, acts of vandalism appeared near locations she had visited, including scratched car doors and damaged garden decorations. Investigations again stalled without clear suspects. Meanwhile, threatening notes began appearing on Kareem's doorstep, increasing his sense of isolation. Maya continued gathering evidence, mapping incidents on a timeline that revealed a steady escalation of harassment. Neighbors who once greeted each other warmly began avoiding eye contact, worried that any involvement might make them the next target. Several families quietly moved away, leaving empty houses that added to the growing unease. Community meetings lost attendance as frustration replaced hope for resolution. Beneath the silence, alliances formed among people who wanted the truth exposed. The atmosphere became heavy with suspicion, and unseen tensions pushed everyone closer to a moment when hidden actions would turn into irreversible consequences that no one could control. A violent storm rolled across Ridgeway Heights late one evening, knocking out power lines and leaving the street in darkness. Without streetlights, shadows stretched across empty sidewalks, and residents stayed locked inside their homes. During the blackout, flames suddenly appeared from an abandoned shed near the edge of the neighborhood. Fire crews arrived quickly, but investigators later confirmed that the blaze had been started intentionally using accelerants. Suspicion spread through the community as people questioned who would risk such a dangerous act. Fear grew stronger when Maya Lopez received anonymous threats warning her to stop digging into neighborhood conflicts. Kareem Hassan considered leaving the area, but he chose to remain, determined to protect his home and clear his name. Meanwhile, internal complaints about Officer Daniel Hargrove quietly surfaced within the police department, raising concerns about his behavior. Despite this, his presence around the street increased, with frequent patrols that made residents uneasy. Several neighbors began installing extra locks and security systems, while others avoided leaving home after sunset. Online groups filled with rumors and accusations, deepening divisions among residents. Investigators searched for links between the arson and earlier incidents, but struggled to find direct evidence. The sense of safety that once defined Ridgeway Heights completely disappeared. Behind the scenes, someone continued pushing tensions higher, creating chaos that distracted everyone from a larger plan forming in silence, one that would soon push the neighborhood beyond fear into an irreversible tragedy. A community festival was organized in an attempt to restore peace and rebuild trust among residents of Ridgeway Heights. Colorful decorations filled the park, but beneath the cheerful setting, tension lingered. Groups stayed separated, watching each other with suspicion instead of sharing laughter. During the event, a confrontation broke out after several residents accused Officer Daniel Hargrove of ongoing harassment. Videos recorded by bystanders showed aggressive behavior that quickly spread across social media, drawing public outrage and outside attention. Local authorities placed him on temporary leave while an internal review began, yet the investigation only deepened divisions within the neighborhood. Around the same time, Maya Lopez uncovered financial records suggesting Hargrove had connections with a private security organization known for extremist activities. She prepared to include this discovery in an upcoming documentary report, believing it would expose a larger pattern of abuse. Meanwhile, Kareem Hassan received official notices claiming building violations on his property, threatening to shut down his renovation work. The pressure pushed him into isolation as he struggled to defend himself against growing accusations. One late night, several residents heard loud crashes coming from behind Kareem's backyard fence, followed by sudden silence when police arrived. No evidence was found, leaving more unanswered questions. Anxiety spread rapidly as people realized the conflict was spiraling beyond control. Beneath the surface, secret plans continued to develop, setting the stage for a devastating event that would soon shake Ridgeway Heights and transform personal grudges into a deadly reality. Early one morning, the calm of Ridgeway Heights shattered when news spread that Maya Lopez had been found dead inside her small apartment across town. Police sealed off the building while investigators examined signs of forced entry and searched for missing evidence. The scene showed careful planning rather than a random act, leaving authorities uncertain about the motive. Residents of the neighborhood reacted with shock, fear, and quiet guilt, knowing how deeply she had been involved in exposing the ongoing conflict. Initial reports suggested robbery, but investigators quickly realized that valuable items remained untouched. Instead, Maya's research equipment and several storage drives had disappeared, raising suspicion that her work had made her a target. Online speculation exploded, accusing different people connected to the neighborhood dispute. Kareem Hassan's name appeared frequently in rumors because his story was central to her investigations, leading to intense public scrutiny despite no solid evidence against him. Meanwhile, Officer Daniel Hargrove publicly denied any connection to the crime, presenting himself as another victim of false accusations. News vans filled the streets, turning Ridgeway Heights into a media spectacle that amplified fear among residents. Neighbors avoided stepping outside, worried about cameras and questions. Investigators discovered that Maya had recently scheduled meetings to reveal major findings, suggesting she was close to uncovering something powerful. As authorities worked through digital records and witness accounts, one unsettling truth became clear. Her death was not an isolated tragedy, but part of a larger chain of events that had been quietly escalating for months. Forensic investigators worked around the clock to recover data from Maya Lopez's damaged devices, eventually restoring fragments of deleted files that revealed disturbing patterns. Her research showed that several residents had been secretly monitored through hidden cameras placed along fences, streetlights, and abandoned structures. The recordings tracked daily routines, visitors, and private moments, suggesting a long-term surveillance operation carried out by someone with professional training. Authorities quietly reopened internal complaints connected to Officer Daniel Hargrove, while publicly claiming they were exploring multiple leads. Meanwhile, Kareem Hassan reviewed footage from his own security system and discovered a masked figure moving with tactical precision near Maya's apartment building on the night of her death. The individual avoided direct camera angles and used routes that suggested knowledge of law enforcement procedures. Community members, emboldened by the growing investigation, began sharing stories of intimidation that had never been formally reported. Anonymous tips described secret meetings and suspicious vehicles seen near the abandoned shed weeks before the murder. Investigators compared timelines and realized that many incidents aligned with shifts and movements linked to someone familiar with police operations. Pressure mounted within the department as internal affairs gathered additional evidence. Residents watched from behind closed curtains as unmarked vehicles returned repeatedly to the neighborhood. The once hidden pattern of harassment began forming a clear picture of organized control and fear. As investigators prepared search warrants and coordinated arrests, Ridgeway Heights held its breath, sensing that the truth behind months of terror and manipulation was finally about to surface. Authorities executed a carefully planned search at Officer Daniel Hargrove's home, uncovering a shocking collection of hidden surveillance equipment, extremist materials, and files stolen from Maya Lopez's computer. Every corner of the house revealed meticulous planning. Cameras disguised as everyday objects, encrypted drives containing personal information on neighbors, and documents detailing patterns of harassment and intimidation. Forensic teams matched data from Hargrove's devices to incidents across Ridgeway Heights, confirming his involvement in orchestrating a campaign meant to pressure certain residents, including Kareem Hassan, into leaving the neighborhood. Evidence showed that Maya's murder was deliberate, carried out to silence her before she could release her findings to the public. Investigators also linked Hargrove's vehicle and movements to locations near Maya's apartment on the night she died. News of his arrest spread rapidly, shocking the community and drawing national attention. Kareem Hassan was formally cleared of all suspicion after security footage and digital records confirmed that he had been defending himself and attempting to document harassment. Ridgeway Heights began the slow and painful process of healing, though trust among residents remained fragile. Memorials were held for Maya Lopez, honoring her courage and dedication to uncovering the truth. Her work became a symbol of resilience, illustrating how vigilance and perseverance can confront systemic abuse. The case exposed weaknesses within local oversight systems and highlighted the devastating consequences when power is misused. While the neighborhood gradually returned to routine, the memory of what had happened served as a constant reminder that unchecked prejudice, surveillance, and personal vendettas can escalate into unimaginable tragedy, leaving lasting scars on those who survive.